Look out over the world here. So this is about like the third take on this. Lucy keeps making a cameo appearance, or the dogs next door bark, or the ceremony, you know. So this is like a talk about ceremony and rituals. Ceremony and rituals. You know, we just can't live without rituals. You know, we get up in the morning and we go through a morning ritual. Now, most of us don't recognize some of this stuff, and so we go through what we call our routine. We go through a ritual of getting up and doing whatever it is we do. Whether we go to school, or we go to work, or we go out exploring, or whatever it is that we do. Our day is full of ritual. And as I look back in my life, I have to say, you know, up front here is these are all only my stories and my opinion, and I hope only that my sharing this this discussion or talk will give other people some insights and maybe help them. That's the idea, is that, you know, we try to help each other. So the rituals, you know, we go through, there's like human rituals, and then there's ceremony. And some of the ceremonies are human. We make them up, or we have a vision and we're directed to unfold something. And you know, that is a connection to the Creator, and that's a good thing. We so often see ceremony, which is full of rituals. Some of the rituals in ceremony are repeated over and over and over. Some of the church services that we've attended in our life, or we are going to attend, is full of different types of rituals. And those rituals are just little building blocks for this overall ceremony. But really, what people are seeing in our day is they look at some of the indigenous peoples as being what an illusion that Hollywood has presented, and it's a terrible thing to have done for what Hollywood has done, and you know, put the native individual in a place that's you know, stereotypically some kind of mystic or some whatever. I don't know. Those are my opinions. And I just think that's just terrible, because, you know, people are people now. There was a time, you know, old stories talk about the time when things were done. But our day now is a different day, and we need to be smart enough to get through them. Some of the rituals that I do, you know, they're based on what I see in nature, and that, I think, is where so much of society has broken down, is that most rituals are your natural function in the world. And some of the ceremonies that we have originally were based on something with nature, or the sky, or the earth, or the wind, or the sun. And so what we've done is we've just taken something that is so personal, and we've just literally dried it out. And, you know, in my opinion, what we need to do is go and look for those ceremonies and rituals that are in nature. Now, how do you do that? That's a good question. And I've been asked in different lectures, when I talk about you know, water education, I talk about the pulse of the universe, and the pulse of our earth is, you know, how the water builds, and then it releases through, and that is at 1 year's time. That's a ceremony that is a natural ceremony. It's one that we can base our day-to-day on. And we do by, getting out your summer clothes and putting away your summer clothes, bringing out your winter clothes. Now we're starting to become part of the ritual of the pulse. The ceremony overall is us all participating, and the ritual is you in your individuality, your participation. Now, some of these people in my day, I've watched people, complain about, non-Indigenous people stealing things from Indigenous people, and gosh, that's gone back since I was a kid, because there was a book put out. I'm not sure, 48 or 49 or somewhere in there, about 7 Rites of the Sacred Pipe, and it gave people diagrams on how to build a sweat. But they did not teach about, the gathering of the sticks, or the talking to the community where the sticks belonged, or the right authorities handed down. So even though we see so many of these things done, it was done in an academic form. And it was the same with our sacred pipe. There were individuals that held the pipe for the whole, the tribe. And then the United States came in and just gave everybody one. And that's the beginning of the contamination of understanding, depending on the tribe. So much of our ceremonies, so many of them, are based on natural events, natural occurrences. And not only that, they're also based on how the stars were aligned. They're very complicated and yet very simple. And when somebody comes in to look at some of the ceremonies, they fall in love with that, the feeling of that ceremony or the feeling of the tribe. And thus they want to have that as a central, pulse to them. But the one point that they overlooked is that the individuals that are in running that ceremony, those people are in ritual all their life, and some of that is tragic rituals. Death of kin and death of young people or old people, or just tragedies, diabetes, alcohol, methamphetamines, that you name it. Those individuals running those ceremonies, they live a really hard life. It's full of the whole of the universe, which is happiness and sadness. So when somebody from outside the community looks at that individual and they want to be able to do that, that idea is from the outside. That's not from the traditional values. Only if there's divine intervention do you go off on your own, and that may be risky as well. So, people looking at ceremonies, we can plan a ceremony using the rituals that we have in our life. Now, if you're still struggling with rituals, think about it this way: is rituals are basically full of variations. So for so many days you notice that the first sock that you put on your foot is the right sock. And all of a sudden one day you put on the left sock first, and things go bad. You have a tragedy, you get in a car accident, or you fail a test, or you don't know what's your significant others, why they're upset at you. And so then you, in your mind, you figure, well, I put the sock on wrong, and so the ritual, I screwed up the ritual, and so on you go. But that is a way people take their life, and they see those as being consequences of their failure to perform a ritual properly. I don't know. I don't know. You know, everybody's individual rituals are their privacy, and that is the important piece here. You know, your rituals for the ceremony of your life, those are your private things. Those are things that you don't share unless you trust somebody. And if you are guided, you know, through the spiritual world or this world of spirits, if you're guided, then, you know, I pray for you, because they're going to take you for a twist and turn in your experience and adventure. But look at it that way. It is a discovery of life, and you know, may your rituals, how do they say that on that? May your rituals always be in your favor? No. May you always have rituals, and may they give you wisdom in the end. So this is a little bit on rituals and ceremonies, and I will probably do more later. I don't understand so many of the pandemic rituals right now, because to me the pandemic that we have is a Sundance, because I see everything that way. And the pandemic is the center pole, and people are losing focus to that center pole. They're losing focus to the pandemic. And it's an interference between a decision, which is the center pole itself, and the decision is your health or your money. And you know, you have to make a choice. And that's a sad thing for where we are in universal history. We should be at a much higher plane, and we should be thinking of much better things than what we are right now. But again, some say, you know, to get healed, you've got to dig out an old wound. And I just hope that those people who are on the spiritual path awaken from their dreaming and become helpful in this world as they were designed to. So may you have a good day, and some of this bring up some questions for you, and let's see where we go next. Have a wonderful time. Bye.